For more on Pompeo's trip and the U.S. strategy in the Middle East, let me bring in regional expert Joel Rubin. He served in the U.S. State Department as a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and is the current president of the Washington Strategy Group. Joel, welcome to our program.
Thanks, Asya.
What are the expectations from Pompeo's trip, and is this really all about countering Iran?
So the expectations are not high that there will be any major breakthroughs, be it on the Gulf crisis, the split between Qatar and Saudi Arabia, or real hard action pushing back Iran, nor a breakthrough, frankly, between the Israelis and the Palestinians. So yes, to your question, this is about trying to mobilize support and collective action against Iran. But what that means and how it's defined and what the U.S. is willing to do beyond sanctions is still up for debate, and we really have not seen Iran pushed back yet by this administration.
And Pompeo's first stop was Kuwait, which has been trying to resolve this regional crisis in the region between Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and UAE on one side, and as you mentioned, Qatar on the other side. Is there really no U.S. solution, no U.S. strategy on how to deal with this crisis that's been going on for nearly 2 years now?
So the Trump administration put itself in the box right away when President Trump essentially endorsed the Saudi blockade of Qatar. It's tried to walk it back, but it has not put pressure on Saudi Arabia effectively to have that happen. So we're seeing now, as you described, a dynamic that is not shifting, and the U.S. does not seem to want to really lean in, which is paradoxical because to push back against Iran, it's essential that the Gulf states are unified, and right now they're split. And the split undermines American policy across the region. We should see more action than just what we've seen the last 2 years if we're going to see this resolved.
So Pompeo, as we mentioned, is in Israel now. How much of a boost will this be for Benjamin Netanyahu, who has survived one scandal after another just a few weeks before he's up for re-election?
Right. Well, it's a part A of a two-part process of his getting a nice campaign boost from the American president. This week, Pompeo. Next week, he'll be in Washington. He'll be meeting with President Trump and speaking at AIPAC. So there will be a lot of pro-Israel rhetoric, and Bibi will benefit from that. So in the short term, he may get a boost, but that should also concern many people in Israel that he's so tied right now to President Trump, because President Trump here himself is in a precarious position. So in the near term, Benjamin Netanyahu certainly might get a boost, but that's not necessarily in Israel's long-term best interest.
Whatever happened to the so-called peace process between Israel and the Palestinians? I mean, Is there any effort to get that back on track? Has the State Department, Joel, to some extent been sidelined as the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been trying to play a role in all this?
Yeah, Asiya, there's been a combination of actions that the Trump administration has taken that run counter to the professed goal that they've put out there of resolving the Middle East conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians, be it moving the embassy, the American embassy to Jerusalem, or shutting down the PLO mission in Washington and cutting aid to the Palestinians. Those kinds of actions have essentially pushed the Palestinians away from the table. But Jared Kushner at the same time is intimating that he'll release a plan to resolve it. But
We've
one
been
half
hearing
of the
that
parties,
for a long time now.
Right, and I don't know how you resolve a conflict when half of the parties are not at the table. So we're going to have a lot more debate about this here, but clearly it's not in a good place.
All right, Joel Rubin, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.